Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're taking a moment to just kind of pause, reflect, and really look back at the life, the incredible career, and the lasting legacy of the iconic voice actor Tom Kane. You know, if you've watched television, played a video game, or even just walked around a theme park in the last 30 years, you absolutely know his work. We're mourning the loss of a true giant in the world of animation.
And right out of the gate, just look at this tribute from a fan on Reddit. May the Force be with him always. It perfectly captures the sentiment being felt across the globe right now. The entertainment world didn't just lose a talented performer, you know? We lost a voice that fundamentally shaped the childhoods of literally millions of people around the world. It's a profound loss. And the massive outpouring of love we're seeing? Well, that's a real testament to the warmth and the distinct character he brought to every single recording booth he ever entered.
Section 1. Loss of an icon. Okay, let's dive into this. According to recent reports from Page 6, Tom Kane has sadly passed away at the age of 64. The cause of his passing was due to complications connected to a really severe stroke that he had suffered a few years prior, back in 2020. Now, 64 is far too young, but as you'll see as we go through this explainer, he somehow managed to pack multiple lifetimes of creative output into those years.
Following this timeline, we can trace what is a truly remarkable journey. He reportedly started out as just a teenager with a dream doing local voice acting in Kansas City. From those humble beginnings, he steadily built up a career over the ensuing decades that culminated in him becoming one of the most respected names in the entire industry, ultimately earning well over 270 credits. Then tragedy struck in 2020, with that devastating stroke that forced his retirement. However, earlier in 2024, fans got one last heartwarming glimpse of him attending a cast reunion, which we'll actually talk about in a moment, before his untimely passing at age 64.
Section 2. Voices of Our Childhood. I mean, we are talking about the absolute staples of our weekend mornings and late-night gaming sessions here. He brought the legendary Jedi Master Yoda to life in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. Over in Townsville, he was the brilliant fatherly Professor Utonium and, get this, simultaneously the terrifyingly flamboyant villain him in the Powerpuff Girls. He lent his voice to unforgettable characters in Kim Possible, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, massive blockbuster video game franchises like Call of Duty, and he even narrated various Disney attractions. His voice was literally everywhere.
And this brilliantly illustrates the staggering, almost unbelievable vocal range that Kane possessed. On the one side, you have the serene, profound, calming wisdom of Yoda, and on the other, the chaotic, high-pitched, incredibly creepy energy of the villain him. The fact that the exact same human vocal cords produced both of these iconic, wildly different sounds is just an absolute masterclass in voice acting. It wasn't just about changing pitch, he changed the entire soul behind the microphone.
Forbes highlighted a staggering number that really puts things into perspective. More than 270 credits. That spans across animated television shows, feature movies, documentaries, commercial voiceovers, and video games. He wasn't just an actor. Actually, scratch that. He was an absolute workhorse of the industry, consistently delivering top-tier performances for decades on end.
But out of all those 270 credits, this number stands out for a massive portion of his fan base. 130. That is the number of episodes he spent voicing Yoda in Star Wars: The Clone Wars. He didn't just imitate the character, he truly carried the torch, helping to entirely define the wisdom and the cadence of that legendary Jedi Master for a completely new generation of Star Wars fans.
Section 3. The Man Behind the Mic.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the incredible contrast between his massive public legacy and his intensely devoted personal life. Friends and colleagues have frequently noted that beyond being a wildly talented performer, he was just an incredibly kind person. Off-screen, he was a loving husband and, remarkably, a father to 9 children. And what speaks volumes about his character is that this included several adopted and foster children. He clearly had a heart as expansive as his vocal range.
Which honestly makes the events of 2020 all the more heartbreaking. Kane suffered a devastating stroke that specifically affected his speech. For someone whose entire livelihood, identity, and gift to the world was his voice. Well, this was just an unimaginably cruel turn of events. It forced his immediate retirement from voice acting, leaving fans worldwide absolutely heartbroken to lose his talent so suddenly.
However, there was a beautiful, truly uplifting moment just earlier this year in 2024. Tom made a very rare public appearance at a reunion event with the original Powerpuff Girls cast. The images and videos from that emotional moment quickly spread online like wildfire. Fans were just overjoyed to see him smiling, celebrated, and surrounded by his longtime friends and castmates one last time. It was a really beautiful reminder of the tight-knit community he helped build.
Section 4. An enduring cultural legacy.
Since the news broke, social media has been entirely flooded with tributes from fans, from creators, and from fellow voice actors. This quote from a fan on Reddit simply reads, "His voice brought happiness to all our lives." It's so simple, yet so profoundly true. Whether you were exploring a Disney attraction or playing a game you grew up with, his voice was a comforting constant that provided real joy to people's daily lives.
So, the crucial point is this. Tom Kane leaves behind a legacy that very few performers, voice actor or otherwise, ever achieve. His body of work entertained millions, it inspired entire generations, and it became fundamentally interwoven with some of the most beloved entertainment franchises in history. While the man himself may have passed, and while his voice is now silent, the characters he breathed life into and the cherished memories we all attach to them, well, those are going to live on forever.
As we finish up, I want to leave you with this question to reflect on. Which of Tom Kane's voices will echo in your memory? Was it the wise teachings of Yoda, the fatherly tone of Professor Utonium, or maybe an announcer from your favorite childhood video game? Whatever character it was, his voice will always be a part of our history. Thank you for joining me for this explainer to honor a true legend. Rest in peace, Tom Kane.